Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bruce Lee. My co-host Sid Roeder is here with me. Good morning, Sid.
Good morning, Bruce.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's good to be coming up on the end of this very short winter.
Which winter do you mean?
If we could just get a little snow so we could get some water, I think it'd be better. But
you know, I had my tulips come out for like a split second.
Before they got pounded.
And then they froze.
Every time I think it's done, we get 6 more inches of snow or a foot, depending where we are.
I think we had the highest recorded snowpack ever.
Yeah, since recorded time in Cache Valley. Well, I don't know if that's exactly right. So anybody who is out there that is actually a weather statistician, we apologize.
Oh, correct us. Yeah. I read this, though. This was on some news channel thing, and I don't know if they're lying.
Well, if it's on the internet, you know it's true.
That's right. Everything on the internet is true.
That's true. Well, that covers the weather report section of our show today. Sid, welcome to the show. I'll introduce our guest in just a second. But before we do that, Sid, why don't you tell us about our sponsor?
Of course. The Senior Moments Show is sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that have dedicated their time and efforts to provide information for this show, and they financially sponsor this show. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for this show, anyone you'd like to see us invite, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406.
Thank you, Sid, as always, for that. And now, as I promised, we're going to introduce our guest, which is Sid.
Yay!
Now, I know if you're out there listening, you probably think, this is actually one of the funnest shows that I think we get to do, and I'm really excited to talk to Sid today about basically things going on with Sid, because she has some things going on that are going to be of interest, right?
Well, they're interesting to me because I dove into a new subject, but there you go.
Yeah, so let's just start, though, Sid, with kind of baseline stuff that maybe people already know about you. Talk about what you're doing with your existing business.
Okay. Well, let's maybe even just give a short history of myself, as people can tell by my slight accent. I was born and raised in Germany. Came to the U.S. for the first time in 1990 and actually went to school in Salt Lake City, graduated with a degree in international business from Westminster College, and then went back to Europe in 96. Married my husband, who is Swiss, lived in Switzerland for 14 years, had 3 daughters. And then we decided to immigrate to Cache Valley in 2011. That's what brought us here. I did work as a real estate agent in Switzerland, and so I knew I was going to duplicate that here in Cache Valley. Got my Utah and Idaho license in 2012 and have worked full-time in real estate ever since, and always try to increase my knowledge, enhance, and tweak on all ends. And maybe if I can just keep on rambling, in real estate, a lot of people don't realize that you can actually be accompanied when you purchase a new construction house. You can be accompanied by a real estate agent too, which can be very beneficial if that real estate has some experience and understanding of construction and building science, et cetera, to give the client a better idea on what to look for, what things to maybe ask for from the builder to enhance certain things. So I've always been somewhat interested in building science, especially in being from Europe where energy cost is much higher. Been very interested in energy efficiency. And so going through that process, I've observed some of the construction, seen some things that I felt people were undereducated, and decided to start an insulation company in Cache Valley.
Because that's what everybody does.
Yes, when they get into something and they're interested, they make a business out of it. Isn't that what everybody does?
Well, that's true. So you've been doing real estate for how long total?
I've been doing real estate since 2012, so that makes it this year 11 years.
2012 in the States or 2012?
In the state, well, yeah, outside of the States, it was about how many years? 3 years before that. So yeah, I'm going on 15 years.
Before we move into the new thing, I'm just curious, what's different between European real estate and U.S. real estate from a sales perspective? Is it the same?
No, not at all. It's completely different. The whole surrounding items of that industry are wholly different. You typically go to the bank first and you get your loan totally set up. That is not something that is any collaboration with the real estate agents. Then they only have agents over there that work a little bit like we call our limited agents here, because the agent that lists it is the agent that negotiates the contract between the buyer and seller. So it's more of a negotiation position than representing one side. That obviously has some downsides and some upsides.
Does the agent represent the property at that point then, or how does that work?
Well, it's really a negotiator between two parties to facilitate a sale. So you have a property that you advertise, and you have some estimate on the value, and then negotiation starts. And that's your job, is to negotiate between the two and come to common ground.
So how does the real estate agent get paid overseas?
Real estate agent in at least in Switzerland and Germany gets paid by the seller only, and it's a one commission. There is no buyer agency commission over there.
Okay, so do you have a preference of systems? Do you like the U.S. system versus the European system?
No, it's not that easy, to be quite honest. I think that having a buyer's agent that represents only the buyer's interest and a seller agent for the seller's interest has its benefits. When it comes to the simplicity of the process, and if you are a good negotiator bringing two parties together, I see benefits in both. I'll say that. It's a whole different culture. Hence, the way it works is different. And my understanding is it used to be like that in the U.S.
I know we're coming up on our first break, but just one more quick question about international. There may be some people that listen that have international properties. How do you get help with something like that? Is that something you can help people with, or do you direct people to another place?
It really depends on what countries it is in. Obviously, in some countries, I could be of assistance if it's German-speaking. I always like to, if anybody is looking in Europe and they just want some advice or even to understand how the system works, I'm always good to talk to and at least get some ideas.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sid. This is normally what I send it to you. I'll do that in just a second. Thanks for all that information. We're going to go to a break. Why don't you take us out?
Absolutely. I'd love to take us out. This is the Senior Moment Show. Again, we are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram offers free delivery service 5 days a week, Monday through Friday throughout the valley. Just stay home and they will deliver to you. With 25 different suppliers, they won't have the shortage that others might have. Also, with compounding and many other services, they will be able to serve all your needs. In order to stay safe and help slow the spread, please call Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram at 245-DRUG and they will take care of you.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we're actually visiting with my co-host Sid Roeder because she has some really fun things going on in her life, and we're talking about a new business that she has created in addition to what she's doing in real estate. Just before we went to break, we're talking about some of the international experience that she has coming from her background being a German citizen and now a U.S. citizen. So Sid, you mentioned in the last segment that a benefit or an option that people have that maybe they don't think about with a real estate agent is to do maybe a pre-walkthrough during construction, right? And isn't that part of the reason why that has led you to this new opportunity that you're working on?
Right. It actually goes a little bit deeper like that. Without naming names, I'm accompanying a new construction right now with one of the large builders in the valley for a client who's out of state. And so I'm, as a real estate agent, I'm stepping in constantly, following the building schedule, looking at things that were performed, pointing out things that I see that need to be fixed. So the superintendent is my new best friend because I talk to him more often than he maybe wants to. And of course, for my client, in this particular case where he's out of town, I'm his eyes and ears on the ground because he can't be there. But oftentimes with new construction, a lot of people are not aware of how complex building science is and how items even interact. I mean, one of the things, just to maybe go on a sideline here, is I was at the Home and Garden Show at the Eccles Center and got to talk to a few people that are building their own home. And they were completely unaware, sometimes even of the interaction of insulation and the HVAC package that you're putting in your home, and that there needs to be communication between the company that does the insulation and the HVAC individual, because if you're cranking that up, I mean, if you were to take it all the way to net zero, the size of your heating system and your AC system is a complete different one than if you're going with the minimum code requirements to get your home through the building inspection.
Okay, you're already talking about a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to be able to understand. We'll have to dig into that a little bit more, which is fine. But that kind of led you to this, not this particular experience that you're having right now, but you've been working on this new entity for 6 months or so, a year. I can't remember how long.
We've only been actively working out there on retrofitting some older homes for a few months now, but. Everybody has to start somewhere.
But retrofitting, you're not talking about rebuilding. You're talking about
right.
What is your business?
Well, we do retrofitting and new construction. Obviously, we do blown-in insulation, bat insulation, board insulation. We do offer spray foam up to a certain board foot size. We don't have a big spray foam rig, so we can't do like a pole barn spray foam. That size of insulation is not what we do.
Because of the height?
No, the height's not the problem. You really need a large commercial machine for that, and we've just decided we're going to stay in a little bit of a smaller residential setting for now. We might add it on at some point in time, but for now we've decided we're just going to focus on new construction and some retrofitting of homes to help with energy efficiency.
So this might seem like a big leap going from real estate agency to spray insulation. That's not necessarily related, but
well, no,
the way
it
you're
is,
describing
actually.
it, it is related.
No, to me it's very related, because in the real estate industry, one thing that's always been very important for me as a real estate agent is to understand buildings and construction, and also the things to look for when I'm accompanying a buyer on the purchase of their home, and it's an existing home. I'm trying to find as much as I possibly can by testing that could potentially have some harm or have an effect on the investment that my client. Buying a home is a hefty investment, as everybody knows. Just like you're buying a car and maybe you're taking it to a mechanic really quick to have it run through a check. It's pretty much even more so necessary with a house, because there are so many factors that filter into your home being a healthy home. There could be mold, even though you see absolutely no sign of mold in the home. I always explain this to my clients with some of the horror stories that I've found, and saying, having a mold test done and maybe paying $100 for a mold test, which is an air sample test. So if there's any hidden mold in the walls, you can find that with the air sample test. And then there is a problem that you have to deal with. Or same problem is with radon. We are in an area where radon is very prevalent. A lot of people do not understand that. It's a gas that you can't smell, you can't see it. It can be here today and not there tomorrow, because it has to do with, movement in the ground. And so the EPA requires that if you have, I don't know what the measurement's actually called. It's I don't know what the measurement's called. But the number 4 is the magic number at which you should do some radon mitigation and actually have a ventilation system installed to move the radon out of your house, because it seeps in through the smallest cracks. It's a carcinogen, and I highly recommend that to all of my clients that purchase a home, whether it's new construction or existing.
Good reason to have a talented real estate agent working for you as a consultant. What's the name of your new business?
It is Advanced Insulation.
Advanced Insulation. And tell me about who should call you? Who's your sweet spot?
My sweet spot. Well, of course, the nicest thing for me to do is to do it right from the beginning. I love new construction. I love sitting down with homeowners that are going through bidding out their, the different parts of their home, making sure that they understand the relation of heating, cooling, air, any ventilation, and the insulation. Being able to offer different solutions for different budgets. I do understand that not everybody can afford the best insulation at all times, but we also do some retrofitting. We've done some attic insulations, blown-in insulation on that, and maybe I shouldn't start that long rant before the break, but I think the biggest misconception that people have is that you can just blow in some insulation in the attic and call it good.
Let's before you keep going, let's. Is there a different phone number for this business than your regular phone number?
Well, there is.
If they want more information
absolutely,
from you?
Absolutely. Advanced Insulation's phone number is 435-800-0220. And I'd be happy to answer any questions and meet with you, whether it's on new construction or on retrofitting. And we're already coming up on our second break here in a hurry, so I'm going to also take us out. If you'd like to know more about our sponsor, the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take a little break. Stay tuned.
This is Brian Erickson for the Sunshine Minute. Each day, our nurses, CNAs, cooks and servers, housekeepers, laundry staff, music, recreation therapy teams, office staff, receptionists, and many more arrive around the clock. These heroes show up ready and willing to serve and protect our residents and clients. We are so grateful to our dedicated team. On behalf of the Board of Sunshine Terrace Foundation and our community, thank you to all of our employees for keeping us safe. We bring more to life together.
Want an inexperienced surgeon?
Okay, nurse, I'm ready for the scalpel.
How about an inexperienced airline pilot?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain, and I'm terrified.
Experience matters, and we have it.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty. I am a senior real estate specialist.
I'd love to meet with you face-to-face and give you a free consultation and market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
Did you know that one of the greatest threats to our quality of life is a fall? 1/3 of Americans 65 and older, and 1/2 of those over 80 will fall this year. Many will never be the same again, and some will never return to their homes. This is Bruce at Comfort Care. One of the ways we can help people stay in their home is through our free in-home fall protection survey. Let us help you identify these fall risks. Call us at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
It's tough knowing how to care for an aging parent. Mom has always been there for me, but now I need to be there for her. When we found out she needed surgery, I wondered how I could attend to her needs and still be mom to my kids. I was so relieved to learn about transitional rehab at Maple Springs in North Logan. From the nurses to the physical therapists, it was like their whole staff was focused on helping Mom get better. Maple Springs in North Logan was an answer to my prayers.
Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com or call 753-9400.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, visiting with my co-host Sid Roeder, who has a new company called
Advanced Insulation.
Advanced Insulation. They've been in business for how long?
A few months now. I can't even remember because we've been so busy with getting everything ready to roll.
You guys can't see me do this, but every time I ask a question, I just point at her and she has to come up with the answer. So how long is it? I don't know. It's been a few months. So it's not fair. She's not getting warned. There's money out there for people who maybe need to do some retrofitting. Isn't there an installation?
Yes. There are different. There are tax credits out there for existing residential. There is a tax credit out there that allows for 30% of the material cost. We do have the links for that. So if somebody is looking at retrofitting an existing home, we can help with what forms they need to use to collect that tax credit. There's also tax credits in new construction, which can be a $5,000 tax credit if you get a home net zero ready.
What does net zero mean?
Net zero means that you technically, with renewable energy, have no energy cost or hardly any energy cost in your home.
Meaning,
I could pull that up because it is defined. You want me to see if I can find it?
Well, I don't know if we need to know exactly what it is, but just in lay terms, meaning my bill is going to be very low.
It should mean your bill is non-existing because you have a renewable energy, so solar or wind or geothermal as an energy source, and that your insulation. It's a whole package. Mm-hmm. See, a building is like a body. There's more to it. You should never single out one single thing, because if you have pain in your foot, there may be other health issues underlying. So it's the same with a house. You can't, and with net zero, it is absolutely crucial that you have your HVAC, your insulation, and everything work hand in hand, and the energy source, which would be your renewable energy sources.
So with current construction and somebody who might want to access a tax credit to make some improvements, how would I know in my home if I need to have the insulation checked or that I have a problem that needs to be resolved?
Easy. You give me a call. You call me at 435-800-0220, and if we're talking specifically, I think the statistic says that usually a home loses about 40% of its energy through the attic. And that is due to it not being sealed and properly insulated. I would not allow someone to just blow in insulation on top of whatever is up there and call it good, because you are neglecting some factor that have an effect on it. The R value is only one value to measure, and that is how heat is transferred through a material or not. And the other thing that has an impact is airflow. If there is no vapor barrier, you are not getting the R value that you think you're getting. So what's really crucial in an existing attic...
Meaning if my attic is drafty.
If you're I'm not talking about the attic ventilation. I'm talking about the barrier that is like an envelope that encases your living space. Most of the construction in Cache Valley is in a way that they have blown-in insulation in the attic spaces, but the top plate that connects to your house should be completely sealed before the blown-in insulation gets in there. And that is something that we can retrofit if it wasn't done right. We're actually currently in the process to also invest in a blower door so we can do some more detailed testing on where leakage actually happens. We already have thermal imaging cameras, and we have a smoker where we can demonstrate if there is a leak. Often it's canned lighting, vents from bathrooms, around any vent piping, PVC piping and things like that. All of that needs to be properly sealed, which has nothing to do with ventilation in your attic. That's a whole new subject. Maybe we need to do another show.
So if I live in an older home, then I'm probably more at risk for this type of thing. Maybe, is that true? And if so, would I'm guessing I'd maybe experience some cooler places in my home, maybe different temperature changes as I walk through the home. And then as you come in and add insulation or improve that, will I see that improve? Will I see my heat bill go down? And then I can get some money from government, I guess, to help me to get that done.
Exactly. You will definitely see your heat bill go down with proper sealing and insulation. Absolutely. Unless it's not done right. And that is something we can check out. I do want to remark before we end our show maybe that in some of the older homes, there are some super old insulation materials that do give us some grief, and some even require some testing. We've come across a lime sawdust mix in homes. And there's also vermiculite. Vermiculite could potentially have asbestos in there. So that is something where we have to take a sample and send it in for testing. And if it tests positive, that's actually something that we cannot do because that is a hazardous material. But as I said, if you'd like to get some more information or have me check out your attic space to kind of give you an idea what we're looking at, what's possible and what the cost is, I'd be happy to come out and look at that. It's 435-800-0220. And on that note, I don't think I've ever talked this much in any of our shows, Bruce.
I'll just say thank you, Sid.
Well, thanks for letting me chat about my new hobby and building signs. It's so much fun. This was the Senior Moments Show. Thanks for tuning in. We hope to have you listen again next week.